A very good evening, brothers and sisters in Christ. My name is Justin, and I am the program executive at the Methodist School of Music. You are here because you want to learn about virtual choir production, which is one of the few ways that choirs have been engaged during this pandemic. Now, in a virtual choir, we are concerned with two aspects of production. They are audio production and video production. They can be quite technical, and my goal tonight is not to make you an expert in audio and video production, but to show you the basic steps that you will need to make virtual choir video. Now, I understand that there are many people here, and I welcome to everyone here who is from the Chinese Annual Conference, and also those from other churches as well. Hello to you. I'm going to try to speak as I'm making an intentional effort to speak slower, because I realize that if you you can hear in my voice, I don't really speak a lot of Chinese, so I'm going to try to be as intelligible as I can. And if you do have any questions, please post them in the chat function, which you can bring up in Zoom. And I promise I will get to some questions at the end of the night. If not, feel free to use that to respond to people, chat with people, ask questions. And if you feel like you have an answer to some of the technical questions that come up in the chat group, I encourage you to respond to those too. Who knows, I could learn something from you guys as well. So these are my contact details on the screen that you see. I will respond to an email. I'll respond to a DM on Instagram, and I'll respond to messages on my YouTube channel as well. Just a point of interest, on my YouTube channel, I post the finished product of the combined band videos that I do for Methodist Church. So I am the guy who puts together band videos for the Sunday service. So actually, my expertise is more for the band side of things. I know that tonight's about virtual choir, but I hope that the principles tonight will be basic enough so that you can apply those to even a choir, SATB choir situation. That being said, I am not 100%. I got a bit of an ulcer in my mouth, so if I sound I got a bit of a lisp actually, like because of the ulcer. I got a bit of a Sean Connery drawl. So if you don't mind me speaking, no, I'm kidding. I will try my best to be intelligible for tonight, just for you guys. All right. So this is our plan for tonight. Like a good Methodist sermon, I've got 3 points that I will bring you through. These are the steps 1, 2, and 3 that you will need when producing a virtual choir video. They are, and in order of appearance, preparation, recording, and then editing. At each step of the way, I am going to list and talk about the people who are involved in the steps, and also go through the technical requirements that you will need in order to successfully perform the step. So step 1, preparation, step 2, recording, and step 3, editing. So let me just share a broad overview, including the timeline of events that happen from week to week. So to reiterate again, I am the guy who's in charge of the contemporary band in Methodist Church. So on the Sunday, typically Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon to evening, the pastoral staff will share with me what are the songs that need to be recorded. In the early days, when the circuit breaker started, we had to record 2 songs a week. And right now, because we've got a steady growing library, it has now been reduced to 1 song a week. But even with 1 song a week, it's still a pretty tight timeline, because after Sunday, when the songs are shared, or when the song is shared, I need to sit down and put on my music director hat and think about an arrangement for the team. And when I think of the arrangement, I need to consider, okay, which band members do I need to record this week? And in your case, you might have to think about how many singers do I need? Do I need this to be an SATB? Do I need this to be a men's choir? Do I need this to be a women's choir piece? Do I need a descant? Do I need a baritone? These sorts of considerations need to be in the mind of the music director or the choral director. And then I've got until Monday to record a basic backing track to send to the team. I'll tell you what this basic backing track will contain, but for now, it's suffice to say, I've got 1 day to 1.5 days worth of time to record the backing track to send to the team. From Monday evening to Thursday, the team is given that amount of time to record and submit their files. And when I say submit files, I mean both audio and video files. And throughout this evening, I'm going to share with you some file management tips. I'm going to share with you the programs that I use to generate the files, to clean and edit the files and put them together. On Friday, when they typically I give them to Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening. This is so that by Friday morning, I'm able to wake up in the morning and spend the next couple of hours to edit the audio and video files. And when I edit them, I put them all together, I clean up the files, I scrub them, I make sure that there's no extra noise in there. And there are some tips that I can give you tonight that will help you in this endeavor. Typically, it takes me about, at first, it used to take me about 5 to 6 hours to edit a video from start to finish. But since circuit breaker and we've got like so many videos that have been coming out, my workflow has been established, my infrastructure is already there, people know what to do. My editing time has been cut down quite severely. Right now, I take about maybe 2 hours to fully edit a video, which goes to show if someone like me who is not really adept with tech can do it. I am by no means an audio production person or video production person. This is stuff that I learned on the fly. I had to learn it when circuit breaker started. If I can do it in 2 hours, if it takes me 4 or 5 months to reduce my editing time to that amount of time, I can't imagine what it would be like for you guys who definitely will be more talented than me. So Friday, I spend the time to edit the video, finish it up, and then this is so that by Saturday morning, I send out the finished product to my pastoral staff, who then compiles the video together. So you are not the last link in the chain. You are the second last or the third last link in the chain. The pastoral staff in charge of putting the service video together, he's got a lot of work to do. So I always try to impress upon my team members, we need to stick to the project timeline. I'll share you a quick story. When we first started out, and some people didn't know how hard it would be to record. I had people submit their files to me on Friday night. So I had to edit on Friday night. And by the time I slept, it was like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. And that was the early days when no one knew how to do anything right. Things were just, whatever could go wrong could go wrong. But right now, by the grace of God, we're all learning and we continually improve upon our process, and things are a lot easier right now. So I want to encourage you, if you're experiencing difficulties to record virtual choir, if you're experiencing the headaches, the heartaches, the want to bang your head on the table situation, it's not forever. It's temporary. It will get better. You will learn. People will learn how to record better. People will learn the various things they need to do to squeeze in time to record. You will learn that if you're the editor, if you're the one putting the video together, you will learn the shortcuts to take to get things up and running quickly. So that's my encouragement to you. The essence of a recording project like this is that everyone must record to a backing track. Now, it is an impossible thing to get your choir to be in sync, right? If you send them a YouTube link, hey, just follow this YouTube link and record a song like that, they won't be able to sync up correctly. You and your choir and your production team, you all must think like recording artists in the studio. That means you need to learn how to record with a click track in your ear. You need to learn that you cannot deviate from an arrangement. You cannot ad-lib. You cannot, unless you're directed by your music director. But other than that, there's no space to vary or apply variation in the arrangement. If the music director says, "Okay, we got to sing A, B, and end the song," you have to record like that. You cannot deviate from that roadmap of the song. And also you need to be very well rehearsed before you hit that record button. I'll tell you, every single recording mistake can be heard in the recording. I know maybe before circuit breaker, when we still could sing choir we could sing live in service. You could maybe be a bit sloppy with like hitting your notes, or you can breathe. You can come in a bit later than expected, and you can't really get picked up by the microphones, and because it's a live environment, everyone is focused on worshiping. In the online recorded medium, everything can be heard. So if you miss your note, it stands out. If you hit the note a certain way that is different from other people, it will stand out. If your vocal rhythm and your vocal phrasing is different, it will stand out. So a lot of the work is not the editing, is not the using the video editor or using the audio editor. It's actually getting people to sync up correctly. Now, I say this because this is going to be very hard for most people who have not been in a recording studio environment before. Before I got a call to full-time ministry, I was convinced I was going to be a rock star. I was convinced I was going to be the recording, performing musician. And so every opportunity I had to be in the studio to help people to record guitar, to record guitar tracks for somebody, I'll be there. So this is familiar territory for me. It took a while to get used to, and so don't expect your choir members to get used to this overnight. You need to roll it out gradually. You need to get them to be comfortable with it. Yeah. So this is my last warning, right? Before we begin a deep dive into production, if you think, oh no, I made a mistake coming for this webinar, this is your last warning before we deep dive into the content proper. Now, I'm going to go through the first step, and the first step is preparation. It is the most important of all the steps because it will determine how good or bad the experience will be for everyone involved. In this step, the key word to remember is communication. Communication between all members of the production chain, between the leaders, between the production team, between the choristers, between the music director or the people in charge of the music, your pianists, everyone. If you watch cooking shows like Hell's Kitchen, you will know that one of Gordon Ramsay's biggest peeves is a silent kitchen. He gets very angry because no one's communicating. Everyone needs to know and keep everyone else in the know. Everyone has to be talking, to be communicating, to let each other know that this is happening down the line, this has happened, or this is going to happen. So, what do we do in preparation? You need a way to get the virtual choir members synced to the song. And this is done by recording a backing track, which I'll explain soon. You also need a way to brief your choir members on how to record and provide helpful reading guides so that they can read and familiarize themselves with the recording process. This is done by file sharing. So there are two things that we need to do to prepare. We need to prepare the backing track, and we need to provide a platform to share files, distribute files, and to receive files. The people involved in preparation are the conductor or music director, the leaders, and an accompanist. The conductor or music director, your job is to come up with an arrangement that takes the skill level of your virtual choir members into account. Now, everyone is stressed from juggling work, family, and social responsibilities, and I'm sure this has doubled, tripled during this pandemic. Please take this into account before you think of trying to get your choir members to record Handel's Messiah. Once you have your arrangement, you now need to communicate your idea for the song by recording a backing track. The purpose of the backing track is to sync the choir members' vocal performances. A backing track comprises of a click track, which is from a metronome, a cue track that might contain a countdown so that people will know how to click together. I'm going to show you what I mean. And last but not least, we need the accompaniment track, maybe your piano, maybe a guitar. What kind of accompaniment will depend on your choristers. If they need full SATB accompaniment, if they need to know how each of the voices sound like, then your musicians should endeavor to play all four parts, like as in a hymnal. If they don't need that, then something a bit simpler, right, like recording a guitar strumming, might suffice to provide rhythm. Essentially, you want to give idea of how the song feels like, how the song, the idea of the song's tempo and the idea of the song's feel. Remember to record to a click track. I need to stress this I need to stress this a lot because this is something that will really affect the process downstream. Right from the get-go, everyone needs to record to a click track, even the pianist, even the organist. I know this is something that is a sore point because you want to be a bit more free flowing with the music. Organists like to drag those last notes to have a very grand intro or very grand outro. Any variation in tempo will make editing downstream a lot harder for everyone involved. Much more so the editor like me who has to take all your files and to edit your files at the end. You have to remember that your choristers will not be able to see any conductor instructions to slow down or speed up. So that this is the very important point. Record with a click track. Now, at this juncture, I'm going to bring us out of PowerPoint. I'm going to introduce the tools that we're going to use for today's demo. So I'm going to exit this. Okay. Now, this is, okay, I'm going to be doing this completely live, so please pray for me. I hope that my computer won't, please keep my computer in prayer. I hope it doesn't crash or anything. All right. Tonight, I'm going to show you two programs that I use that are completely free, and they're programs that I use to clean up, edit the files, and also to mix the audio files. So this is just for the audio production side of things. So let's go through the timeline. You are the let's say my pastoral staff comes to me and says, you got to do a song called Lord Have Mercy. Now the tempo is 120 BPM, it's a 4/4, and you need to do this for service. So okay, let's create a backing track. Now I'm going to show you first and foremost. This is BandLab. BandLab, and I provide a link. I'm going to share with you the slides after this webinar, and I'll provide the link. All these websites that you see, the link will be in the slides, so you can refer to this. BandLab is an online browser-based digital audio workstation. All that means is that you're able to edit audio on your browser. I suggest Chrome. I think it works with Firefox, and I think it works with Internet Explorer, but it may not be the best results. The best results, BandLab says, is to use Chrome. And I'm an avid Chrome user, so there's no problem for me. When you open up BandLab, and you will have to register. I need to put this out. So if you're in your production team and you need to create and you want to use BandLab, you have to register an account with them. I mean, it's quite easy, lah. You just register using Facebook or you register using your Google account. It will sync to your account. Anyway, pun intended. Let's go to the Create tab over here, which will bring you to an editor for your song. So when you click on Create, you'll be brought into BandLab's browser interface like this. So it'll ask you and prompt you to put in a new track. You can import audio if you've already recorded audio or loops. Now, it's for now, we're going to ignore this. I'm going to click away from the menu so you can see this in its full glory here. Now, there are a lot of things to talk about in BandLab, but suffice it to say, I need y'all to understand that for digital audio workstations, we work on a timeline that goes from left to right. So the start of the song is at bar 1 over here, and the end of the song is whatever how long the song will end. Let's say bar 18, like the 18-bar song. So these numbers here on the top refer to bar numbers, which is pretty neat, because it's quite neat. And there are things that you can, if I zoom in on if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that the bar numbers are subdivided into parts of the bar. So this is currently set to quarter notes. And I think in BandLab, you can't subdivide it anymore. So this is if I turn on the metronome, you should see this playhead here. When I press play, it's going to move from left to right, and you should see that every time it goes by the part of the bar of 1.2.3, you should hear a click. Yep. So this is the playhead, and this is where the position on the timeline that your project is currently in. Okay, the music, the pastoral staff said you got to do this song. Okay, let's create the backing track for this. I'm going to have this open for a moment, and I'm going to open Audacity. Audacity is a free digital audio workstation that you can download. And the reason I'm using Audacity right now is because I need to generate a click track. I need to generate something, the metronome for people to use. So similar to BandLab's interface, when you open up Audacity, it is arranged in a timeline from left to right. So this refers to the seconds. So it's different from BandLab a little bit. This is a proper timeline. So don't need to worry about anything about it yet. Later I'll show you what happens if I edit video or edit audio using Audacity. So I'm going to generate a click track. And to do this, I will click on generate. I will hit down to click track over here. And I need to specify my click track. Now I know it's 120 beats a minute. I don't know how many bars I'm going to set this at, so I'm going to arbitrarily put it at, let's say, 100 bars. You can set it 200 bars, however you want it. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Number of measures, number of bars is the one below. So okay, 120 beats a minute in 4/4. So sorry, this is the beats per measure. So 4/4 should be 4 here. Number of bars, you can put this to some crazy number here, but for arbitrary, most songs don't cross the 100 bar mark. So I'm just going to set this up here first. All right. You don't need to worry about any of the other settings. So just click on OK. When you click OK, it will generate that click track. And you can hear this. So once the click track is generated, you're going to have to export. Okay, I'm going to do it slowly again. When you click on File, when you bring down look at the various menu options, there's Export Audio. When you bring on export audio, you're going to be asked to export it out to, so you can load the file into other places. In this case, I want to load the click track into BandLab. I need Audacity to export the click track. So I'm going to put 120 beats per minute for 4/4. Save as type. This is important over here. By default, Audacity will save your files in 16-bit wave for the 16-bit wave format. If it is set to anything else, let's say MP3, please change it back to WAV, because a WAV file is lossless and it does not have any lag when you export it out. If you're to compress the audio with and export it as MP3, you're going to have a little bit of lag in the front of your audio file when you export it. And this is not desirable because your click track is going to be offbeat. So when in doubt, excuse me, when in doubt, work with WAV files. Okay, so export this, and you can click OK. It doesn't matter. You can edit the metadata tag here. It doesn't matter. Just click OK. It will export. Now, once it is exported, you're going to want to look at your export location. And you can see down here in my export file location, down here is 120 BPMs 4/4, right? I am going to import this into BandLab. So I'm going to, look at the interface here. On the left-hand side, there's an add track, add the track, and then you're going to import audio MIDI. So click on import. It'll bring up the browser to look at where you've located. So you have to locate your exported file. So this is the click track. Open it up. Now you see that now the click track is now its own track in the interface. Okay, I'm going to turn on the metronome here. So this is the click track, the most important track of all. Once you've done this, you now need to send this file or send this project to your accompanist to record the piano or the guitar over. So I'm just going to put over here. Okay, so I'm going to rename this as something else. Okay, I'm going to save this. Must always save your work. You never know when things will go wrong. All right. Now at this step, when you've created the backing track, When you exit, you now have this song, test the song, as its own project file. Now with this page, you're able to share this song so that people, your accompanist can go in and record his part. So I'm going to click on the share button here. Okay, you look at this interface here. Under there are a few button controls here. Under share via private link. Share by just copy and paste the following link. Okay, people who get this link will be able to listen to the click track. Okay, they'll be listening to the file. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it to the chat, and you should be able to access this link. For those of you who are on laptops or can have the chat open, okay, open up your chat function right now. You should be able to see a BandLab link that I've prepared. When you click on it, it will bring you to this page. Now, what's wonderful about BandLab is that you don't have to share MP3 files between lots of people. You can just share the link to the web page where this is a project file, and you can press play, and it will bring up a player to play the file. This is wonderful. That means I don't need to share MP3 files, export MP3 files to other people. I can just I can edit a file on BandLab, share the link to people, and they can listen to the backing track right from here. They don't need to download MP3 and play from their media player or their phone, or etc. etc. Excuse me. All right. So let's say I created this click track. Now I send this to my accompanist. I'm just gonna say guitar player. Okay, so sorry, I'm from band, so I don't use these words very often. I'm gonna send this project template to my guitarist, and I'm gonna tell him, hey, can you record the backing track for this? Can you record the basic rhythm track for this? And he'll say, no problem, I can do it. With BandLab, what's really cool is that you can collaborate with other people. You can add people to a band, like a private group, and this is the band, right? A private group. Everybody in a group has open access to the project file. So I'll be able to open a mix editor, and if you have a recording interface like I do, it will capture the browser will be able to access the interface. So I'm not sure. I think you can see this. If you to look at the bottom left-hand corner on my source, and I click source, you can see that input, the browser and BandLab has detected that I'm using a Steinberg UR22 interface. And that means that whatever sound is coming through here, I can record it. So why don't I, just for fun, okay, let's assume I'm the guitarist. I'm going to click on add track. I'm going to click on whatever, right? I'm just going to make sure that, okay, so you can double click on the tab here to change the name of the track. All right. I'm just gonna, all right, let me just testing. So yeah, this is the power of BandLab. BandLab is able to automatically capture any audio interface that's connected to your computer. BandLab is able to use your phone as the audio interface. If you have the BandLab app on your phone or your tablet, you can open the app, you can open a project, and you can use it as a fully functional digital audio workstation right on your phone, using the phone's microphone as an input source to record vocals, to record instruments, whatever you want. So let's say I recorded my guitar. Okay, I'm going to, and of course I did this beforehand, so you don't have to hear me do this in real time. Let me just go and quickly go to, yeah, I've got a guitar file here. You can also do this. You can drag and drop into BandLab. All right. All right. So this is you're only 2/3 way through. The last step to creating a backing track is to provide a clap cue. I call it in inverted commas the clap cue. All right. The big problem that we have with virtual choir and with band is how do we sync people's videos together? Now, I want you to recall in your mind if you've seen any of those behind the scenes footage of, let's say, a Hollywood production. If you were to see the behind the scenes of a movie production, you will know that there is a guy whose job is to stand in front of the camera and to say, Matrix, action scene, take one, action. And his job is to clap. The purpose of that clap is for the video camera to see the clap and for the audio guys on the microphones to hear that clap. So in post-production, when they bring the video and audio together, they use this clap as the sync point. The clapper's job is quite important because it means that the audio and the video get synced up. So we are going to apply the same concept of a Hollywood clapper into our audio production. How do we do this? All right. In contemporary band, we have a practice of using backing tracks. And in backing tracks, we've got something called the cue track, which provides instructions and directions, very short instructions and directions to give ideas of intro. So, for example, in a band, for example, you might hear a robotic voice in your ear going, intro, 2, 3, 4. That voice, that robotic voice, which of course is me now, but there's a voice in the band's ear to tell them and remind them which section is coming up. We can apply this for the virtual choir. Now, there are free cues that you can download online, and I'm going to share them with you. These are basically sound clips and samples of instructions. So I can, let's say, I will use this testing here. I'm going to rename it as cues. I am going to start adding a countdown, and I'm going to use 4-beat countdown followed by a clap sample. All right. I'm going to start drag and dropping this stuff here. Doing it live. So please keep me in prayer that nothing, okay, you know what? This is not, this is, I need to keep this stable. So let me just bring 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. I need to let you know this is being recorded. So if this is too fast for you, I'm gonna put this up on YouTube, and then you can take a look at it and rewatch it at your own time. Okay, it looks like I'm a bit off for, yeah, I think that looks about right.
2, 3, 4.
Okay, yep. So now you can hear.
1, 2.
Nope, I should be putting this halfway in the bar.
1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Last step is to insert the clap cue. So it'll sound like this.
1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna put the guitar slightly behind here. All right. So when your choristers receive the backing track, the first few bars of the of this backing track is going to signal them when they will clap. This is so that when they shoot their video, the producers, the production team will know where to sync the video and audio to. So for example,
1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So this is the important step, the instructing your choristers or whoever, your accompanist, your pianist, your guitarist, whoever is recording, they need to provide a sync point. This is the way to provide the sync point. And once you've got this down, once you've got these, oops, what did I do? Yeah, once you've got these three elements, the click track, the cue track, just for the first couple bars, and the piano or guitar, you are now ready to distribute this file to your choristers. So I'm going to save, as you should. I'm going to exit. So again, you can click on the share button, copy it, and I'm going to put it to the chat here. You should be able to see when this processing is done, or once the processing is done, you should be able to hear the full backing track, which includes the click, the cues, and then the guitar track. And you can share this link to your choristers. You can tell them, okay, backing track is ready. You guys can use this to play back in your ears as you record. All right. If you've got people who cannot use web browsers, or if they've got difficulty accessing BandLab. Now, BandLab is not a perfect system. There have been times where it is impossible to get BandLab up and running on people's like different Android phones or older laptops or whatever. So there is a download function too. You can click on download, and you can still send and export an MP3 if you need to. So let me just click on download, export MP3, right? Yeah, so this export process might take a little while, but at the end of it all, you're going to see that there is an MP3 file that you can send to people in case you got people who cannot use BandLab for whatever reason. Okay. I might just show you. I'll show you the finished backing track that we have. Okay, ignore all this first. Okay, ignore all this first. I'm gonna just mute everything here first. Okay, as I said before, this is a digital audio workstation. The interface is left to right. You can see that okay, I want to take a look at the orange, the violin, and the guitar here, right? You can see that this is a waveform, and this is the visual representation of how sound wave looks like. You can tell that this violin track here fades off at bar 18. The guitar plays. The guitar has fades off at finishes bar 39. So actually, this song is a short song. It's a 40-bar song. Let me just play for you the backing track in full.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
The singers will come in after the violin fades off. So when this backing track is sent out to the choristers, you need to tell them, all right, 4 counts after the guitar fades off, when it's holding on E major, start singing. You can give an instruction like that, or you could include another cue to let them know that the section is coming out. For example, you can copy and paste samples. All right, if you want to be absolutely certain when they should start singing, you can do this. You can take. Okay, I press Shift. I click on count 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I know that I want them to start singing at bar 20, I think. Sorry, let's do this. Yep. Okay. So bar 19 is where I'm going to have a countdown. So I can tell them to start singing when you hear the count, after you hear the countdown.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Lord have mercy. That's a very quick. This is a very quick cue. You can slow it down and tell them that you can after you can subdivide it a little bit more and have it like this. Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Lord have mercy. For example, if the cue is too fast, 4 counts very fast at 120 BPM. Okay, let's try and count down in 60 BPM and arrange the count in cues over bars 18 and 19 before you sing at bar 20. For example. All right, so timeline. This is Monday night. I've prepared this backing track. I send out the backing track to my choristers. I instruct them vocals to come in from bar 20 onwards. If you're opening, if they have band lab open, or just listen out for the cue that is programmed into the backing track. It should happen over bars 18 or 19, which is around the 34 to 38 second mark. You can say stuff. You can give geographical information about a song using using the bar markings or the timestamp up here. Okay, yeah. So roughly around the 36 to 38 second mark, get ready to sing, for example. Send this out to them, send the MP3 if you have to, send the project file if you have to. Now they have to record. Okay. Okay, hang on. So I'm going to exit without saving because this is the finished product. Okay. Let me jump right back to. All right. So you got a backing track ready. Now you need to coordinate your members to record. And how do we do this? I recommend a file sharing system that everyone has access to. In my church, I use Google Drive to share the backing track, the score, and the recording guides that can help my band members set up their recording space. So I got README files. I use Dropbox for file submissions because the service Dropbox has a file request feature and it integrates quite well into the phone. I then bring everybody on board by communicating in a group chat like on WhatsApp. I send out the links to the Google Drive folder where everyone can access the music and the score, etc. And I also put in WhatsApp the Dropbox submission link for people to send their files once they have recorded. Now, WhatsApp is not just a communications platform, it is a means of social media too. WhatsApp can provide a layer of technical support if anyone's got problems with the recording, which they will. If this is the first time you're doing it, everyone will have some sort of technical problem. And it is your job as the leader. It is your job as the worship leader, the director, your section leader to help address these problems. Don't miss out on the opportunity to provide emotional and spiritual support in WhatsApp. So get people to pray, get people to encourage one another, be the first voice to give the thumbs up, be the voice that builds people up and to encourage them along the way. Yeah, don't underestimate the opportunity to provide pastoral care. This is I acknowledge that this is a very high level of administration and setup, but I cannot stress how important it is for the leaders of virtual choir and leaders of the ministry to provide such a strong foundation. It is your responsibility. Never forget that. Even lending a listening ear and providing your pastoral presence may help encourage a member to carry on the difficult task of self-recording. As I said before, I like Dropbox because Dropbox has a submission feature. If you, even on the phone, right? The phone, if you press the submission link on WhatsApp, shared on WhatsApp, excuse me, Dropbox will, you'll see this bottom right-hand screen. It will ask for access to your phone system and your files on your phone. And it will open up like an interface where you can select videos for those of you who are recording video. And I think you can also access your voice memo recordings if you're only recording audio and not video. Long story short, Dropbox is free. Dropbox is good. Use it. All right. Now that you've provided the administrative support and the foundation for people to submit the files, let's go to the recording process. All right. The people involved in recording, these are your choristers, your performers, your musicians, and they will need a minimum of 2 devices. You will have to instruct, one device is to listen to, the other device is to record. Instruct your choristers to choose a suitable environment to record. There should be minimal ambient noise. Close all the doors and windows, turn off the fan and air conditioner. If you must use air conditioner, make sure the fan is at a minimal setting so that there'll be as little noise as possible. You might also have to consider, choose a time where there will be minimal noise in and around the home. This is to avoid situations of you capturing the sound of your neighbor's dog, the koel in the tree nearby, the kid downstairs practicing his piano, just to name a few sources of ambient noise. The rule of thumb is this: if you can hear it, your device will be able to hear it too. I say again, if you can hear it, your device will definitely pick it up. The next 2 slides are for people who don't need to record video. Let's say you come from a church context where you don't need to provide a video feed of someone singing on camera. The recording process is slightly easier in that you just need to configure your phone to record a voice memo. So follow this next slide for audio only recording. Now on every phone, there should be a setting to configure the voice memo quality between compressed and lossless. What this means is lossless is the best possible quality. You want to enable that setting. This screenshot is for iPhone users. I'm sorry, don't have Android pictures here, but there should be a similar kind of setup. You should be able to find a setting that will change the quality of your voice memo to something to lossless quality. If you can configure it deeper, you might want to look for the WAV format, WAV. Apple has its own lossless format called AIFF, which you will need to convert later. But anyway, that's a different problem. It's a good problem to have, and we'll talk about that down the road if we have the time to. All right. If you're recording audio only, you can do a lot of things to help enhance the quality of your recording. One thing that I found is that you can use your blanket as a vocal booth. And what a vocal booth is, it basically makes sure that nothing, no ambient noise gets recorded by the microphone. And in your case, your phone, right? I have recorded under the sheets of my bed before. This is so that I can make sure I capture 100% my voice and nothing else, not even the low rumbling of like the aircon or like even the low rumbling of traffic that's outside my door. Blankets do work. It's a very hot solution. You'll feel very hot and uncomfortable, but it does work. All right. I sped up at that part there because we need to talk about video settings here for those of you who want to record on-camera performances from your choristers. Now, there are 2 settings that you need to make sure. Number 1 is the recording quality. All our phones these days have the marketing gimmick of you can record 4K video. I think there's a phone out there that can record 8K video. This is not necessary in the virtual choir environment because you're all going to end up being very small pictures, very small angles on the screen. Even if you occupy only half or quarter of the screen, you don't need that kind of resolution. All that kind of resolution is going to be it's just superfluous. It's not necessary. So instead of 4K, which is very high quality, very very big files, you can make your editor's life easier by recording at 1080p. This is the one step below 4K. I think most phones are on 4K by default. Drop it down to 1080p at 30 frames per second, 30 FPS. There are a few technical reasons why the setting is the way it is, but you know what? Tonight, you just need to know that this is the ideal setting, 1080p at 30 frames per second. And you have to also make sure that the format is in most compatible format and not high efficiency. This is particularly on iPhone because the high efficiency format is the latest format that is on everything after iPhone 8, I think, or is it iPhone 7? Can't remember. But it is recording it's supposed to be a better kind of format, but video editors, but in the consumer range, so the editors that I have, and because my computer is also not very high powered, unless you've got a very good graphics card with a lot of RAM on your PC or your laptop, it's gonna struggle to edit video with the high efficiency format. It's got to do with the recording codec. This is H.265. The high efficiency format is H.265, which is more up to date. The most compatible is H.264, which is the previous standard. Okay, very technical, but all that means is that if you record in most compatible, your editor he is unlikely to be the guy who has a Mac Pro or like a iMac Pro or like some crazy $10,000 machine. Just give everyone a nicer time to edit. Make sure that it's the most compatible format. Okay. All right. Now set up your phone. If you are recording yourself, you need to set up the phone on typically on cameras, we have tripods to do the job for us. In the home environment, and I know not a lot of you are professional photographers who have tripods lying around, so you can make do with the $5-10 things that are out there on Lazada. The picture here is of a Joby Gorilla Pod. This is a $50 flexible thing. This is the $50 version. Lazada has the $10 version. You can even find the $5 version. It works just as well for our purposes. The difference is the $50 Gorilla Pod can be hung on a tree, whereas if you do that with the $5 Lazada product, it will probably not withstand that kind of weight. So I recommend getting a cheap, something like, it doesn't have to be expensive, something they can prop up. I've seen people improvise and make improvised tripods out of everything. One of our lay preachers made a tripod out of Lego. One of our another one used a pail and a mop and like use sticky tape. Some other people even use like Scotch tape and just stuck it onto the computer screen so that the person could read the score and sing into the camera at the same time. Just apply a tape, stick onto the computer screen. That works too. Device 1 will record the video and the audio. Device 2, which is, remember I said you need 2 devices. The second device, the purpose is to play back the backing track. You don't want to have both the backing track and your voice being recorded at the same time. You want to isolate them. You want to have your voice only when you're recording in this in the recording environment, so that when the editor edits it in post, he only has to edit your voice. He doesn't have to worry about like a backing track bleed in the background of the playing. So, in other words, set up one device on a tripod or a Gorilla Pod as shown, and second device, plug in earphones. Use earphones to record. So that use your earphones to listen to the second device, your phone, your laptop, your tablet, for example, etc., etc. The next step is you need to consider how close you want to be in front of the camera. The general rule of thumb is the closer you are to your phone, the clearer your voice is going to be, but also your face is going to be a lot bigger. So you have to. It's a bit intimidating if you it's a bit intimidating if you put your face all the way to the front of the camera. So for the most natural composition, you don't want such a tight frame. You want something a bit more wider to be able to see a bit more detail. This example of my body right now, we can see half my body to 1/3 of my, 1/3 to half of my body. That's a good rule of thumb to have. If I have it slightly further back, I don't appear so big, which is good for, because I'm a, if you are a vain person and you want to appear smaller, just stand a bit further away from the camera. The only problem is that your voice is not going to be able to capture very well, so you have to compromise. The further you are away from your phone, the more you may have to project. That's just a rule of thumb. This is my setup for the demo song just now. That is my old iPhone, which is on a $5 Lazada Gorilla Pod, which came with a flimsy phone attachment, as you see here. I also attached a wide angle lens converter over here. This is one of those clip-on things. I bought it for like $10 or $8 at one of those like pop-up stalls a very long time ago. The purpose of that is to zoom in on the. It's so that you can zoom out a bit more. So I can be closer to the camera, but still not be so tight with the camera. This is device 1, my recording device. Device 2, as you can see here, this is the playback device. This is the device. If I send you the BandLab link, you can click on that link. It will bring you to a web page on your browser that you can press play on. So that's the beauty of BandLab. You don't need to, as I said before, you don't need to export MP3s. You just need to send out one link for the backing track. So different angles, you can see here. I have my wife's permission to record this is our bedroom. So, all right. So you have, so that's the basics of recording. 2 devices, one to record, one to listen to the backing track. In my case, I did with 2 phones. You can do this with a, you could sit in front of your computer like you're doing right now and have your computer play back the backing track through earphones and have the phone set up, a tripod somewhere away from the screen and record. That is one way to do it. There are a few ways to go about doing this. It's an interplay of the various components. Where can I record? Can I record in the bedroom? If can, okay, that's good. When can I record? I had to record this while my wife was having a business call in our study. So that's why I had to retire into the bedroom. If you have a room that is far away from everyone else, that's great. Use that space. The idea is everyone has a unique time, space, and everyone has unique time and space to record. Find that time and space to record. But whatever you do, stick to the deadline. Stick to that deadline. And I feel bad that I chase my band members every now and then, but they have to understand that you are not the last link in the chain. I have to pass the video on to our pastoral staff, who then has to combine everything together. So if you want to give your editor a nicer time, if you want him to sleep at the correct sleeping time and not 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, please stick to the deadline to record and to send the files. Okay. Once you have recorded, you're now able, once you've recorded your files, let's say I recorded my performance on my phone. I now will use the Dropbox link to submit this video recording to the editor, back to the editor. So it comes back to me. So timeline, this is now Thursday afternoon. This could be Thursday night. I get the files. What do I do with them? So this step here is going to be quite technical. And this is particularly for the editors or production team. All right. The people involved in this step is the production team, or it could just be you, the one person who has some skills in YouTube or whatever. Don't be discouraged if you're the only editor. As the old saying goes, too many cooks spoil the broth. You will have an easier time coordinating creative decisions if you're the only editor. All right. If you do have a team, and wow, what a blessed thing it is to have a team. You can divide the audio editing and the video editing to two people. Typically, some people are better in one skill set than the other. Personally, I'm better with audio editing than I am with video editing. That's just me. The audio editor's job is to get the files from Dropbox, extract the audio files from the videos, clean them up, and then mix them. And then the video editor's job is to take the master audio file and sync all the different video camera angles together. All right? So a two-part process, audio production, video production. And audio production is about extraction, cleaning, mixing. And then the last step of the process is to sync all together, which is the video editor's job. Oops. That was my cue to move into a demo. Let me get us out of here. Okay, so let's say I have managed to get everyone to submit their files, and I receive the files and I put them all together. It will look like, okay, so your raw video file that you get from your chorister should look like this. Remember that clap? That clap is going to help us to sync the video. Of course, now he's waiting for I am waiting for my cue to sing, and I think there's a violin intro, so it's a pretty long intro. Yes, it is. Remember to smile when you're singing. Okay, fast forward it.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me.
Remember to leave some time of video recording after the song ends. You don't want to immediately stop it after recording. Okay, that look awkward to you right now, but that's because you should give your video editor a bit of time in front of the performance and a bit of time after the performance. This is so that he has the option to fade in or fade out the performance as he sees fit. If I had stopped recording if I press the stop button right here, my video editor has no choice but to fade everyone at this point here, because he is the earliest one who cuts out from the video. So please communicate to your choristers, and if you're a chorister, please take this in mind. Record a bit of time before the recording. Record a bit of time after the performance. What you can typically do is you can press the record button on your phone, then wait for a little while, then press the play button on your second device. This gives you a bit of a gap, and that gap is a good gap to have. You don't want to, it's a lot harder to edit if you're too precise with your punching in. If you only start recording when you start singing, that is a bad creative choice. That limits my creative choice as the editor. All right, I show you this video too because you can hear, right, the raw audio file, the raw audio sound coming from the video isn't very loud, and it's got ambient noise through it. So if you do not treat the audio coming out from the video here, you're going to get noise, and it's going to be a bit soft. What you can do is to treat it. I'm going to reopen Audacity. And Audacity is a Audacity has some pretty powerful plugins. It's got pretty powerful tools that you can use to treat the audio. Let us first extract the audio. Audacity is one of the few free editors out there that can take audio information from a video file, but it cannot do it at its default settings. You need to install something separate. So I have provided this link in the slides. You will have to first install Audacity, which is free open source cross-platform audio software. When you finish installing this, you need to install the FFmpeg library, which is over here. All that seamless means is that you're able to extract audio from video. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's go to image 2289, which is my phone recording. I can drag and drop into Audacity. And you can see here. Now Audacity has loaded up, because I've installed the library, the FFmpeg library. Audacity is able to load up my audio file, even extract it from the video file. You can tell there's a clap here. That's very important. But you can see here, you see this waveform here, my focusing here. You see how much empty space there is above and below. Now this is characteristic of a soft recording. If you record soft, this is you're going to see very little waveform. The rest of it is blank empty space above and below. This means it's soft. You need to increase the volume a bit, right? All right. What you can do, the first thing I do with an audio file like this, when I see it as quite soft, I click on, okay, you can do a few things. You can Control A, which will select the whole audio file. You can click on the empty space below the track number here. So whatever here, right? You can click empty space here, it will select the whole track. I click on Effect and I go to Amplify because I need to make it louder. So and by default, Audacity will suggest boosting and amplifying your signal to the point, to the maximum point, beyond which you're going to get distortion in your audio. If you amplify too much of the signal, you're going to distort the signal. By default, Audacity will will ask you to amplify to a certain point, and when you do that, that's a bit better. It's at least 1.5 times louder than before. But what happened was, because we amplified the whole audio file, the noise got a bit louder and more prominent. I think you can hear that low rumble, right? Because the aircon is actually on in the background. Even though it's on level 1, there's still a bit of aircon noise. This next step I'm going to show you is one of the magical wonders of Audacity. You're going to select the whole track again. You go to Effect. You go to Audacity. Audacity's effects right here, right? Right around down there, around N, noise reduction. This is Audacity's most powerful function, and I cannot believe it's free. Please pray that Audacity remains free, because this is worth all the hassle in downloading and getting Audacity up and running. Noise reduction. So 2 steps for noise reduction. You need to select a few seconds of noise, and you need to apply the thing, right? Okay, so you need to do step 1, highlight a bit of noise. Now, I know that my vocal performance is here. I know that my clap is here. I don't want the Audacity to think the clap is noise. So I'm going to select the time here where there's nothing going on, where I'm not singing, where I'm not clapping. This is the baseline noise level. I'm going to select noise reduction, get noise profile. I'm then going to reselect the whole track and repeat noise reduction. Now that you've told Audacity what to listen out to, the frequencies to cut, the frequencies to minimize, repeat. Look at that. It's not 100% gone, but it's at minus 54 decibels, which is negligibly audible to the human ear. So you can hear.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
It's still a bit soft now, but it's clean. So now that you have cleaned up the audio here and denoised the audio, you're going to export this out to mix on BandLab. All right. So BandLab, we know it as the distribution center for backing track. It can also be the workstation you use to mix the audio files. Under File, click on Export Audio. And again, it should default to WAV, right? Save as type, WAV 16-bit PCM. Just make sure that it's here, that is this particular setting. That's all you need to do, and you save it. And you can ignore this. It will export it out for you. All right. All right. Now you do this for every single vocal track that comes your way. If you have 4 people SATB, like 4 singers SATB, you should have 4 audio files that you extract, you clean, and you denoise, and then you export out. All right. I am going to open up. Okay, let's say, okay, you know what? I'm going to try. There is one that I did like a semi, is it this one? Let me see. Okay, you know what? I am going to do this manually. Okay, pardon me. All right. Let's say you have used the demo, you have used the backing track, right? The backing track project file to send to your choristers. You're going to reopen the backing track. But this time, instead of working on a backing track to send out to the choristers, you're going to put your choristers' vocal performance into this project file to mix the audio, like the master audio file. So you already have your arrangement set up ready. What you need to do is to add in. All right. Okay, visually, what I can see here is that my clap cue is on bar 3, but my clap from my vocal performance is actually on bar 7. I need to align the two together to make sure the claps correspond on bar 3. How do I do this? Okay, when you click on, okay, I'm just going to rename this, right? All right. If you hover your mouse cursor over the side of this file here, this allows me to change the length of the clip. Right now, it is the full length of however long I recorded. I can shorten it by dragging this end here so that I can click and drag this a bit forward. And because BandLab has quite smart quantizing features, I'm able to precisely align this. So let's say I'm a bit off, right?
4,
That's not right.
4,
Nope, I need to move it a bit more.
4.
Nope, it's still a bit. Yeah, please pray for me that nothing goes wrong. Okay, that should be right. Now, I've used that sync point to sync up between the cue track and my vocal track. I should be in time. Let's hear from bar 20 onwards.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Lord have
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty cool. All right, now you need to edit now I'm going to introduce some mixing concepts so that you can get this to sound a bit better. First and foremost, to deal with the problem of soft audio. Okay, I'm going to have to, let's see. All right, on your bottom side here, you see all these buttons here? All right, you're going to click on FX, which is effects. You're going to click on the track, on the lead box. Now you can add a few things here and there. First thing I like to do is I like to add a compressor. The compressor's job is to make the soft things louder and loud things softer. In other words, it's going to amplify your sound. Nope, I don't want that. I want to. Okay, so anyway, yeah, add a compressor to make the sound louder, and then I'm going to add an equalizer to treat the sound to cut out the bad frequencies. I have saved my preset as follows. So you can stack effects onto a track, onto the vocal track here, and I've added first and foremost a noise gate to really make sure there's no extra noise. It's set to quite low. The compressor's job is to make the soft parts louder. That's what it is. The EQ. Now I want you to look at the EQ here. All right. Let's see. If I turn it off. Okay, let's just hear what happens to the compressor.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
Automatically, you can tell it got a bit louder, right? So let me increase the output a bit more.
Lord have mercy on me.
I hope you can hear that because that made it a bit more louder. So the output here amplifies the signal. Now the EQ, I'm trying to do okay. The problem with mobile phones is that when you record music through a mobile phone and using the mics on the mobile phone, it tends to have a very pronounced mid character. There's something in the mids that is just very harsh, a bit more nasally. I think it's got something to do with the fact that it is after all a telephone first and foremost, and the phone's job is to make your voice audible for the other person on the line, and to be able to pick the voice out. So it's tuned for like a phone conversation. You need to tune it, retune the microphone on the phone. You need to retune the microphone to be more vocal-like. And every phone is tuned slightly differently. The iPhone 8, which I have here, has not so much bass, and the mid frequencies can be a bit harsh. So I am going to I'm going to try and isolate. Okay, you see here the equalizer, right? The equalizer has got these bands, right, from 100 hertz all the way to 6400 hertz. I'm going to try and move these sliders up to tell me which is the nasty harsh frequency. Okay.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy, Christ.
Okay, you can tell that the 3.2K is quite bad. It's quite nasally. So I'm going to cut that a little bit. 400 was also quite bad, but not as bad. So I'm going to cut down maybe 2 decibels of like 2 dB from 400 hertz. And because I know the iPhone is a bit not very bassy, I'm going to increase the low end just a little bit too. So maybe 3 dB, nothing too crazy. So let me hear what I get.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Lord have mercy on.
Okay, so I hope you can hear that. It's slightly better. It's not the best because iPhone is, after all, not really a microphone. It's not like this kind of microphone, but it does the job quite well, quite decently. The last thing you want to do, and if you're adventurous, you can try this out, is you can add delay and you can add reverb, ambience. And the purpose of ambience is to give a sense of space and to give a sense of because we don't hear sound in if you go to a completely dead room and you shout into it and you get nothing back, right? No reflections, no reverb, no delay, no reflection, no acoustic rebound, right? It sounds weird. We're not used to that kind of environment. So ambience effects, delay and reverb, they help to give some sense of space and liveliness to the sound. I added a bit of echo here, and I'm going to increase the reverb. On the bottom right corner, right, there's a reverb control. I'm going to increase it to 50%. It's a bit much, but I'll let you hear the difference.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me, Lord have mercy.
Sounds a bit more palatable, doesn't it? The running joke in audio production world is that the reverb button, right, the reverb knob is the talent knob. So you find that you're lacking in talent, increase your reverb. That's a joke that we have. All right. That's just for one vocal track. You treat every vocal track with the same amount of tender loving care. You need to compress it to get it to sit right in the mix. You need to EQ it to filter out the bad frequency, and then you need to add some ambience. So I suggest the reverb button at the bottom right hand corner. You can add an echo if you really want to. The key word is experimentation. And this is the time where you can you're able to get something that sounds sounds pretty dead to sound like it's being recorded in a church, a cathedral. If you want that big, lush reverb, you can get it to sound like you're in the living room. So milder levels of ambience, like a lower reverb, a lower delay setting, it will sound like more comfortable, more comfy. So that's the problem with audio production. It is both an art and a science. The science part of it is setting the parameters of reverb and delay, decay, whatever. The art of it is I want it to evoke a certain sense like this, I want it to be homely. What does homeliness sound like? Or I want it to be grand. What does grandiose sound like? So production guys out there, you're going to have to learn how to make creative decisions to achieve these certain effects. So I'm going to exit this. I'm going to show you a semi-final product. I need to hurry up because this is I'm so sorry. I'm taking a lot longer with some of the production concepts here. All right. Let's say I recorded 3-part harmony, right? There's one last thing that you need to consider. All right. When you see a choir sing, they don't stand all in the middle. You arrange your choir so that the sound disperses evenly in the hall, right? So let's say SATB, the sopranos one side, basses on one side, then they arrange themselves in a semicircle so that the sound distributes a bit more evenly. There's a similar concept in audio production world, and that is called panning, P-A-N-N-I-N-G, panning, to pan. And what panning is that it places the sound somewhere between your left and your right ears. We experience sound in 3 dimensions, and if the pan control allows you to shift the sound as if it's coming from just the left side of the left speaker or the right speaker, and anywhere in between. So a sound that is panned dead center sounds like this.
Lord have mercy, Christ have.
There's a center. If I pull the pan to the complete left-hand side, you should only hear it coming from the left speaker.
Lord have mercy.
Vice versa. If I put the pan all the way to the right-hand side, you should only hear the right-hand side.
Christ have mercy.
So this can work to your advantage. If you have 3 singers, don't have them all concentrated in the middle. It will sound as if every one of them has lined themselves in one straight line on stage to sing. That's not how you experience sound. So move the singers around. Have the main melody voice in the center, so let's say sopranos, and then you have the harmony voices panned somewhere left and right. In my example here, I've got this first harmony panned 30% to the left.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
And my other harmony, I mirrored the pan. I mirrored 30% to the right hand side.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord.
Combined together, when you have them all singing at the same time, you should be able to hear a bit more spread because your lead singers in the middle and then your harmony singers are slightly panned left and right. And then when you add reverb, that's the final push to get them to sound a bit more spaced out. The final product sounds like this.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
Okay. Okay, I don't know where you can hear the jitters right now. It's jittering because I think the memory usage on my browser is actually reaching critical capacity. So it might not work. I'm so sorry. Okay, one more thing before I end audio production right here, right? Okay. I've got something here called bad example. And I'm going to play this for you. The reason why I said communication is very important is because the music director has to be very clear with the instructions as to how long to hold notes for, how a phrase is to be sung, whether it's straight notes, whether it's syncopated, whether it even stuff like breathing points. Where does the vocalist breathe? If these are not communicated, and you should be communicating these things anyway if you're in a live choir environment, if you don't communicate how long the notes are being held for, even though you've got the score that tells people how to sing and where to sing and all that, people will still find ways to invent their way of singing. Sometimes it's subconscious. Sometimes I cannot do it, so I just try anyway. Let you hear this is a bad example. Okay, this bad example here is when someone holds the note differently from one another, and this is just one voice, right? I want to let you hear how one voice can affect the whole performance.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me.
Can you hear that? What the guy? This bad example dragged the mercy at the end of it. You can, if you the more you work with audio files, the more you develop instinct to be able to tell whether someone's off rhythm or not. So if you see the waveforms here, right? You see the peaks, how they peaks, the note comes out, then releases, right? You can tell that these three people roughly on the same page, but once you get to somewhere here, you see this guy has held the note longer than other people has held. So this is where you need to communicate with your choristers. The best thing you can do as a choir is to meet over Zoom on the Sunday night where the song is being shared. If you're able, if the MD, the music director, the choir director is able to come up with the arrangement quickly, if you're able to get the scores quickly, the music director can hold a conference call with everybody to let them know, look out for these notes. Don't hold the notes longer than this. Don't breathe at this area here. Try your best to let's all sync up and breathe at this part of the bar. Your production life will be a lot easier if you communicate these things. If not, you're gonna spend. I have spent 8 hours on one choir song because the folks, I mean, it was also partly my fault because I didn't communicate with the team, but they all had there were 8 singers and there were 8 different interpretations of the vocal rhythm, and then I spent 8 hours splicing up everyone's vocal performance and trying to line up all their words almost word for like word by word to make sure that everyone was in sync. Not a very pleasant experience, but it taught me the value of communication. If you forget everything that I've taught you tonight, just remember that one word: communication. All right. So let's say you've mixed everyone here. You've panned, you've compressed, you've EQ'd, you've panned them. You get them to sound right, and you get them to sounding how you want them to sound. Now's the time to take the video recordings and then to combine them and sync them with the audio recording. When you're done with your mixing here, I would recommend muting the click track, because if you don't mute it, you're gonna hear that in the export. So mute the click track, mute parts that you don't need, and then when you see, you can save it under File. You can download Mixdown. What this does is that this will, you'll creating Mixdown, which means that you're telling BandLab, this is my final product. I want the final product to sound like this, without the click track and without the bad example. Sorry to that guy. By the way, you can always ask people to re-record. You know? That's the reason why you've got 3 days to record. If you're able to record in 1 day and send to your MD, and your MD goes, "Hey, I need you to re-record this section here because you didn't sing it correctly," that gives you time. Otherwise, if you submit on Thursday night or God forbid Friday morning, there's very little things that we can do to help you. Again, I recommend exporting in WAV because it's uncompressed, and as it says, amazing sound but larger file. So anyway, you can download that. All right, I won't download it now because I downloaded it before. All right, you're still with me. 9:39. Okay, I really need to speed up. Let's go to the video editor. Now, up to this point in time, everything that I've shared with you is free. It's 100% free, don't need to pay anything. The video editing side of things is not so easy. You can use products like Wondershare Filmora or the VSDC free video editor, and they're free as well. But they take a lot of effort to achieve the same results that you would get with a paid app. I was an early adopter of VideoPad, NCH VideoPad, and I got it cheaper, but it is currently at around $60, $70 because it's an Australian dollars. So by the time you convert, it's like $70. If you're an Apple user, you can use, Final Cut Pro is the D choice. But I believe the generic editor on Mac is actually quite powerful, even though it's free. I think it's free. But anyway, on Windows, I use VideoPad, which is not free, $70. But the purpose of this editor here is to do 2 things. It's to sync the audio and the video, and it's also to add in your lyrics so that you can sing along. First and foremost, so this, like the audio editor, this works on a timeline, a project timeline, which is in the bottom part here. The video starts from time 0 on the left-hand side and ends on whichever time the video ends on the right-hand side. Like the audio editor, there's a playback head over here to tell you the position of where it is on the timeline that you're working on. All right. Most video editors interfaces are the same. There will be an area where you can drag and drop project files. We want to import video files. We want to import the master audio file. So I've done those things here. So in your project folder, I have, let's say, 3 takes, the lead singer and 2 harmony. All right. And then I have the It is? Okay, this is the demo song. Okay, that should be it. Yep. Okay. Here, there's a clap track right. The clap cue is right at the start of the music. Okay, this is a slightly bad example. Normally, you have the clap track, then you've got the music slightly after that. But because in my head, I want to start the music actually from the middle of the instrumental because I don't want it to be so long. So I'm actually going to fade in the middle of the instrumental. So it's okay that the clap track actually starts at right when the music plays. Now there's a clap here. There's a clap in the audio. There should be claps in the video. Right? So your job is to sync the audio and the video together. How do we do this? First and foremost, I'm going to, and this is completely up to you, but because I like to work with a white background so that I can add in black text, which is easier to read, I will typically, I just saved a white picture, right? I'm going to add this white picture here. So what I did, I dragged and dropped onto the timeline to load that file. I'm going to drag and drop my music file down here too, so now you can see the video is a white background. If you don't do this, by default, it's a black background. Okay, my job is to line up the video tracks onto the clap cue. So this, the more you work with audio files, the more the better your instinct will be as into identifying the start of certain sounds. Right here, I can tell based on instinct that this part here, this part right here is when the clap starts. I'm going to play it for you. Yep, that was the clap, right? So line up as close as you can, and this one allows you to zoom in to quite close to the clap, start of the clap. Right, my playhead is now at the point of the clap. I need to set starting points on my individual video files, also on the clap, on the particular part of the clap. That part there. So theoretically, this means that the clap is already ended. Okay, so I'm going to set my start point there. I'm going to, and when I Control Shift page up, which overlays the video on top of my audio track, it should be correct.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
So you can see that was synced quite okay. I understand that this clap cue is predicated on people having good rhythm. So if your singer doesn't have good rhythm, you might have to play around a little bit. Okay, so I put my playback head back onto the start of the clap because I need to identify start points from the other videos too. All right, so when I overlay these, you should be able to, okay, I overlaid the video tracks, right? So the video files also have audio information in them. So you can see, right, okay, the top half here is video tracks, bottom half here are audio tracks. As they are right now, the audio tracks are still on. So I need to mute the audio tracks here to make sure that the audio from the video doesn't bleed into my original master audio file. So it should be synced together.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy.
Okay, that's pretty okay. All right. So right now you only see one video angle. That's because the video editor only looks at the last layer, the top video layer. Right now, I got video track 2, 3, and 4, which is my 3 vocalists, right? If it will only look at the top video layer. All right. So in other words, track 3 and track 2 are hidden below the top layer. What you need to do now is you need to apply a split screen function so that you can see all 3 of them at the same time. With free software, this step is going to take a lot of time because you need to manually resize the video clip. You need to manually move the clip into a certain position on your screen, and that takes a lot of time. Let me show you why I like VideoPad so much, because I can apply a video effect here. Split screen. I choose arbitrarily, I choose the 3x3 because I want this size of video, but I want them in the middle. So my lead vocalist is going to be in the middle of the video frame. My harmony, my first harmony, I think is from the left-hand side. So I'm gonna put him on my right. And I'm going to split screen again. So right now, you've got 3 of me arranged so that you can start, so that they should be synced together.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me, Lord have mercy.
This is not the final product yet. You still need to do a few more things. You can add text, which is your text overlay, your lyrics, right? I know the key is Command T, so Command T that's going to be mine. Okay, so the text editor is pretty neat. I can put this here. All right, I can align it to down here. I can increase the text size as well. I can change the text color. So I'm going to change this to black. Shadow will be black yellow. Okay, let's look and see. Then you can. So I'm going to be a bit lazier. This is all the lyrics there is to the song. So, and if you want to be artistic, you can apply a fade in. Let's just say a quick fade. Then a quick fade out also. So you get this.
Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me, Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy on me.
You are still not complete. This is like step 9. There's still one tiny step to do. All right, you're still going to artistically fade in, fade out, edit the video to make it look nice, right? Okay, so you can tell here everyone is ended at a different spot because the recording ends at, the time you press record, stop is different. And the start here, you want to get rid of this too. That's weird, right? All right. Yep, I think the violin starts around here. All right, I'm going to I'm going to set my start point here. When you move the playhead in VideoPad, it brings up this option here, set start time to timeline position. When I click this, the video starts from what you need to do is to make it a bit more natural is to add in a fade in. And I'm going to give this a a slightly quicker fade in. So it sounds like this. And if you want to fade in your video tracks too, because that's what, that's a bit more the arty side of things, set fade, set fade, set fade, and set fade. Oops, I realized I faded the background. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. And over here you can add like text information like song title, copyright information, etc., etc. Now the end of the song is around here. When they fade out, well, let's say the song ends here, right? The opposite function can work here. So if you set the end time to this tiny position, it cuts out everything at that spot. And then you can do the reverse. You can fade, fade, and fade. And of course, last but not least, fade out your audio. I'm going to give it a quick fade here too. Okay, you see here, when you look at the project timeline here, you see this green bar that's slowly inching its way to the right. This is the video. This is my computer buffering the video. This is my computer trying to edit and apply those changes I made to the video. If I try to play the video here, you can see it's lagging. It's not working. Not looking right. That's because my video editor has not caught up with me yet. If I start playing from the front, it should look a bit smooth. Yep. Let's go to the start lah.
Lord have mercy, Christ
Okay, it's buffered already, right? Okay.
have mercy.
Okay, let's go to last. Let's go to the ending lah.
Lord have mercy on me.
And there you have it. This is an example of a worship, of a virtual choir recording. Of course, this is a very simple example. It's a 1-minute video. Typically, your hymns are 3 to 4 minutes, and you won't have 3 singers. You might have 6. You might have 9 singers. My advice, if you're starting this out on your own, is to go slow. Start with like this: 3 singers, 1 melody, 2 harmony. Start with simple instrumentation. Once you get the hang of mixing and editing 3 singers, you can go up to start increasing your load. Take on SATB, 4 people. Take on 2 of each of section, 8 people. Go on to record 16 people. The more people you add to the project, the greater the degree of administration they need to pull off, and also the more taxing it is, it's going to be on your computer. My PC is a bit old, but it's got like 16 gigs of RAM. It's got a pretty decent video card. My limit on my computer is 12 people. I can push it to 16 people, but it's really it causes my video. It causes my PC to really like suffer. It has crashed before because of having so many people. I have had 30 audio track, because I play band, right? So multiple guitars, multiple keyboard parts, percussion tracks, clap tracks. I can reach out to 30 tracks on my audio files. That takes up a lot of system resources. You understand the limits of your computer, and you need to communicate those limits to your leaders. If you're the production team and if you don't have a very powerful PC, you need to let your leaders, your pastors know that your limit is 9 people. And be honest, you have to tell them, look, my computer is not very powerful. It can only produce, it can handle 9 tracks well, but but beyond that, it's going to be quite problematic. And then maybe this is the time where you can sit down with your AV ministry or your pastor and to talk about budgets. If there is, I know of churches where they have a AV budget and they can put together, they can officially set aside money to get a editing PC for whoever it is that whoever it is they've assigned to do this editing, knowing that the person doesn't own the PC, ultimately goes back to the church. But these are things that you can do. These are resources that you can share and distribute with. And I think this is the opportunity where the church can work together across the board, not just the music ministry with the music involved like this, but with the leadership level, LCC level, your executive council level, to talk about we want to produce this kind of content. Who can we empower? Who can we give? Who can we give the authority to do this? Who can we give the creative liberty to produce these things? It is very empowering if a church fully supports the work of a producer like myself, for example. I was very all this is my own expense, of course. Except my video editor, which by the grace of MSM has blessed me to use this for MSM, for example. And it is very empowering and very encouraging. So even something simple like this can be encouraging to your producer. Take good care of your producer, your content editor, your video splicer, however you name him, whoever he is. It's a lot of work, and sometimes it's very easy to lay on criticism that can be very discouraging. Of course, I expect this kind of criticism to come in. Hey, the musicians are so distracting. Can you make the video smaller, for example? And I don't let it get to my head, but I cannot guarantee that. But it does. I do feel something, and really, this is don't undervalue whoever it is that's doing this. Really treasure him, love him, taking out to coffee, dinner, whatever. Because we are people too, With that being said, let me get back to. In conclusion, a virtual choir recording requires a lot of setup. But once the infrastructure is in place to disseminate recordings, retrieve recordings, and once you're familiar with the workflow required to clean, sync, and arrange audio and video files, the amount of time that you put into creating these recordings will go down dramatically. You will develop the instinct to make creative choices faster, an ear to polish audio recordings better, and an eye to spot, identify, and correct issues with video recordings. I hope you found this webinar informative and helpful to your ministry. And with that, this is the end of my content, and I open the time to any questions. Let me set the let me here's my security settings. Okay, I'm going to allow you all to unmute yourselves. If you have any questions you want to ask me directly, please feel free to unmute yourself and to ask it right now. If not, I can look at the chat questions, and I'll take up 10 minutes. So from now to 10:10, I'll take the questions. Okay, question in the chat group. In Audition, when new tracks are imported, the timing changes for the new tracks. How can we avoid it happening? Okay, this is an import setting in Audition. I assume this is Adobe Audition, and oh yes. Also, if you have questions that you want to ask in Chinese, feel free to ask it. Dr. Eddie, who is in this webinar, will help to translate. Yeah. Yeah. 如果你们有问题，你们可以讲华语问啊呀。No, I'm not going to try. Sorry. If you have any questions in Chinese, feel free to ask them in Chinese. Yeah, there is a setting in Adobe to disable. I'm not sure. I don't use Audition, but this is also a problem that I have with BandLab. If you were to change the metronome settings, if I change the settings to Would you like to adjust the existing blah, blah, blah? All right. This is exactly the same problem we have in BandLab. If you change any of the BPM settings on the metronome, it will change also in BandLab. There is a setting to set. I don't know it offhand because I don't use Audition, but under preferences, there should be something that you can either call audio stretching or tempo alignment. Those kind of words. It should be in the preferences audio or preferences import audio kind of setting. Yeah. Okay, someone commented here, free video editor Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve, which I will share with, I will bring it up here. Yes, there is a free editor called Resolve, and it is free. It's got some powerful features. I think it's got the free split screen function, but in my experience using it, it has caused my computer to crash, not work properly. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. It works well for you guys who download it. You need to try, but I don't know why. For some reason on my system, I just never got it to work, and it takes up a lot of system resources, and I think the learning curve is a bit steep. I had to. I remember sitting down trying to internalize the workflow and the layout, and after a while I was like, yeah, I'm so used to VideoPad. I'm just gonna stick with VideoPad. Long story short, find something that works for you. And many of these editors, the paid ones, right? Many of them have free trial periods. I believe if you're on Mac, the Final Cut has got a 14-day trial period, I think. Let's see. 90 days. Yeah, some of these products have a free trial period where you can have the full functionality of the program. And 90 days might be enough for you to finish your grand choir anthem for the end of the month, for example. Yeah. DaVinci Resolves. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I leave it in. Ask for a little bit more time. This is where I miss. This is where I miss the like, you know, the back in service used to have like the keyboardist be able to play at this low pad, and then like whoever wants to respond to the call of the gospel, you know, that kind of situation. Okay, I won't hold you up. If there are no other questions, and if you do feel a question coming up, I'm going to distribute the slides and send this out after the webinar ends tonight. There will be a recording of it too that will be posted on our YouTube channel. I'll share the link to the YouTube channel too, so you can rewatch it at points where you need to revise, review and revise. Feel free to email me your question. Feel free to send me a message via any of the contact methods that I put in the slides. I will try to respond to you. It is quite high key at MSM right now, but I will do my best to respond to you. If nothing else, I am going to share with you. I have one announcement to make before I let you all go, and that is on the 11th and 12th of September, MSM is having an online singing retreat called The Faith We Sing. And you're in for a treat. When you register for this, you are going to listen to Reverend Dr. Michael Horn, and you're going to have the Bishop Solomon is going to be there on Friday and Saturday respectively. So Dr. Michael Horn speaking on Friday night because he's from the US. So yay for Zoom, able to get foreign speakers in, I guess. Friday night is Dr. Michael Horn. Saturday morning is going to be Bishop Solomon, and we also have invited local composers to share their songs. So this is going to be all about the music, the hymns, songs that we are singing, not just from the hymnal, but also from our local context. So it's going to be very interesting because we're going to hear music that is written by our very own Singaporeans. There is a registration fee involved, and there is a registration process. So I encourage you to scan the QR code to register. At the ending, right, I'm gonna have a outro video where I'm gonna loop this QR code as well. So you can, if you can bring up your phone to scan it now, please scan it now. If not, you're gonna have an opportunity later at the outro to scan the QR code as well. So we encourage you to sign up. It's going to be a time of blessing and impartation and equipping to hear from very seasoned and very plugged in practitioners in worship ministry. If not, thank you for availing yourself tonight. It's now 10:08 and there's a lot to digest. There's a lot of content to digest. Let us all leave here knowing that God is with us and He will empower us in our creative endeavors. To that end, let me close us in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, tonight has been the time of where we have to learn a lot of technical things. It has been a time where we might be unfamiliar with certain concepts. And I pray that you will help us through our fear of technology, through our fear of doing things differently. I pray for every brother and sister in this place, and I pray for the people to whom they're going to minister to and work with, cooperate with, to collaborate with after and beyond this webinar. I pray that the skills they learn here, the skills that they have been imparted with tonight, I pray that they will take root and will bear fruit to help your church worship you through song. I pray that that through all these creative endeavors that our choir members will be. We pray for a passionate participation from the choir members, that they will take on these creative assignments with passion and gusto, because this is one way that we can bless your church, one way that we can serve you, even though we are socially distant in this pandemic situation. We also continue to pray that the situation improves, so eventually that we will be able to worship you in our sanctuaries. Thank you, Lord. And with all this, we ask in the wonderful and mighty name of Jesus, and all God's people say, Amen. All right. Thank you all for coming. And with that, I'll play the outro, and we shall see you at other MSM events. Thank you for coming, and good night.
Thank you for watching. This webinar is brought to you by the Methodist School of Music. If you found this webinar to be helpful, feel free to share it with your ministry members who may benefit from it. If you haven't done so, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button so more content like this gets delivered right to you. The link to our Facebook page is in the description box below. Like and follow that page to be kept up to date on the latest events so that you can be a part of all this training. God bless you and your ministry, and we'll see you soon.